218. Squeaky shoes. Hey, listen to Commander Cookout Podcast, episode 218. I'm Brando. I'm here with Ryan, and we're going to continue the arc of the good vibes of our return to Project Atraxa. Now hit our theme song! Hey, Ryan. We're back for yet another whirlwind adventure. How you doing?
Good. What is going down?
A ton is going down. We're back together again for the very first time in a long time. We're returning to a long-time CCO project in Project Atraxa. We got some stories to tell, some people to thank, but before we do any of that, we have to thank our official sponsors, FusionGamingOnline.com, your source for all your gaming needs.
Oh, very much so. We are back. No awkward pauses for you to edit out. No videos for Joe to splice together. Thank you very much. We're here. We've got booster packs on order from Fusion to give away for people who guessed Atraxa from yesterday's pre-show hint. Of course, from FusionGamingOnline.com, as you say.
Yep.
And of course, CCO Fusion 5 promo code get you 5% off your whole order.
Interesting Atraxa fact Traxa, if you will.
I was just going to say it.
Have you ever heard somebody say Atraxa Creator's voice, and you go, what the hell is that? And then they say, it's Atraxa, man. So why'd you call her Creator's voice? That's her whole name.
That's her whole name.
What?
Yeah.
Like you just don't know?
Yep.
Oh,
yeah.
That happens to me every time I physically read the card. It's like, what the fuck is this Creator's voice crap? When did they change that? When did they add that?
Some legendary creatures just have the aura about them that is their first name.
Yeah.
Right? It's like we were just talking before the show when we're talking about wrestling and we say China. Right? You just know who China is.
You just know who that is.
Just because she's super famous.
Yeah.
In the wrestling world from the Attitude Era, right?
Yeah, she came from like that era. She was a trailblazer, a groundbreaker, if you will, to bring in a Magic reference.
Yeah.
And so lots of people know who, even if you're not a wrestling fan, maybe you know who she is.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like it's common in every kind of genre of pop culture or sport, right? If I said like Michael, Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
If I say Sidney Crosby, Ovi, Alexander Ovechkin, right? Jeter in baseball, right? Hank Aaron in baseball, for example. So Atraxa is on the level of fame that...
Is she the Michael Jordan of Commanders?
Oh, that would
make her the best of all time.
I was just gonna say it would bring on the what is the greatest commander of all time?
Moxus.
Brash Taunter. It would bring on that kind of conversation. And while she is the most popular of all time, or in that neighborhood, she might not be the best. And what is best, right?
Who can say?
It's
so subjective. That's why we're doing this show. That's why EDH is a format that we all love.
Yeah, and you know what? I think in terms of one of the things that says it's the best is how many build paths. And this is deck number 4 or 5 in Project Atraxa, where we've done like Turbo Atraxa, which is a Turbo Fog Atraxa list. That was early in CCO, like episode 16 or 20 or something, right?
Yeah, really early on.
We've done
Scrapbook Atraxa.
with Spy Kit and other things that have book in their name.
Weird book tribal.
Yeah, to beat the scrapbooking ninnies, the Scrap Gals podcast on Podomatic.
By the way, we're still running, 2 years? Number 1 games and hobbies on Podomatic.
Yeah. They even changed the category to encapsulate more subgenres within like games and hobbies. It's called leisure now, and still just pounding ninnies.
We're still killing it. I love it.
Don't Google that.
What else did we did? Stacks Traxa?
Stacks Traxa, yeah, that's an important one.
Because I actually have that in real life.
Yeah, and that's a real deck that people play because the Proliferate and Atraxa represents like she got Vigilance, right?
Yep.
A Vigilance, so she doesn't tap to attack, life gaining, proliferating, all the things that you want in a Stacks deck.
Yeah, she does actually everything in the Stacks decks want to do.
Yeah, very much so.
I should say. And now we're doing Tokatraxa.
Tokatraxa, yeah, tokens, which isn't, I don't think it's groundbreaking or revolutionary because we are playing things like Doubling Season and Awakening Zone and things that go in token decks and Atraxa decks, like on the whole, right? But this one's got some high impact token cards to finish the game. It's got a couple combos with some CCO staples, and I think it's a cool deck submitted by Kurt Mr. Anderson
Smith.
Neat. Yeah, patron supporter. Big thank you over on patreon.com/CCO Podcast.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, and having your decks featured when you submit them either to the preferred dick
Dick
list?
list?
Yeah, don't
Why not?
Google that. Preferred deck list channel on the Discord is a benefit. I think this one came via email. We'll still use it.
CommanderCookout@gmail.com, baby. Send them in. Even if you're not a patron, send them in. We love getting piles of deck lists.
Yeah.
We've been using them for the last 9 months.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
9, how many? I don't even care how many lists that is. It's lots.
Yeah.
45.
You know what? We very much want, during the Arc of Good Vibes, which is kind of a meme in and of itself at this point because it's been going on for so long, we want to use listener-submitted decks because I think it makes people feel good to know that community members are kind of getting a little bit of a spotlight with their deck. It certainly feels good to turn on CCO and hear that it's your deck that's getting done, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, getting a shout out or getting an FU, whatever it is.
Hearing us dumping all over your deck.
Yeah. So I think that in itself is a little bit of a good vibe.
Man.
Do you have another good vibe since we're on the good vibing?
I think I do.
We're vibing. Don't Google that.
Nah, that's fine.
Don't camera
It
that.
means we're on the level.
Oh.
We're on the level. We're vibing with each other.
We're talking about different things.
I guess so. So I played some games yesterday.
Sure.
I played with Von Doom. I played with Nick Rob Straczynski.
Oh, yeah?
He was the dude that picked us up at an IHOP in
Yes,
Vegas.
yes.
Which is the most depressing sentence I've ever uttered. Somebody picked us up from an IHOP in Vegas.
Yeah.
We have made
Well, at
life
least-
decisions.
You know
Ryan.
what? At least we weren't going to do a bunch of drugs in our nose and sit on a casting couch with no clothes on. I mean, that's probably a more common ending to the sentence of
Being picked up at an IHOP?
Yeah. We went to play at a Magic Fest. Oh, just as depressing.
Yeah, there it is. There. See? I didn't want to take it there, but you did. Also, FU Max Crandell jumped in for one game.
Oh, yeah.
And
Did you
we
pound him?
Oh, dude.
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
that's where the story's going.
Oh,
You
that's
just
the
wait.
good vibe?
That's the good vibe, is I beat Max Crandell at Magic, spoiler alert. And we also played with Anthony Not Buckley's.
Oh, yeah. I like that guy.
I like that guy, too. So, I rebuilt my Hepatra deck.
Yes.
If anybody's ever played against my Hepatra deck, just a bunch of Golgari not staples, but fun Golgari stuff that I just rammed into a deck and I played it.
Yep.
And then I cut a whole bunch of just good stuff, like Mazarek or Gitrog, just because they're neat.
Yep.
Cut them for oozes.
Ooze.
So now it's Hepatra Ooze Tribal.
Sick.
And I put in only one Hepatra Poison Ball payoff. And I'll get to it in a second, because it's a throwback to last week, because it's Bitter Ordeal.
Oh.
Spoiler alert.
Yes.
And I was sitting with a whole bunch of double green stuff in my hand for the whole game and one fucking forest.
Yes.
So I'm playing. I'm like using my removal. I'm staying alive. I'm going. I can't play any of my stuff because it's all double green. I'm drawing a swamp every turn. And I have a Liliana that finds me a swamp every turn.
Yep.
I ultimate that Liliana, so my 7 swamps all tap for a quadruple black. I have all this mana, but only 1 green. So Nick Rob goes to bring his Avenger of Zendikar that I had killed back from the graveyard.
Yeah.
So what do you think I do to counter that, Ryan? What do you think I do?
Kill him?
No, I played my Balaged Recovery to get my removal spell back. And as the Balaged Recovery was in my hand,
You were like, oh, go on.
I realized that this Recollect that had been in my opening fucking hand had a green land on the back.
And it has a little arrow to tell you.
Right? And I was just, oh my God. So I was the worst Magic player in the world at that point, and I got my thing back and I played it. And
Yep.
Bob's your uncle. And I just kept drawing cards, doing nothing. And then 3 in a row, 3 cards in a row. Blowfly Infestation.
Yep. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Bitter Ordeal.
Uh-oh.
Oh, shit. Next card. Incremental Blight.
Oh, so you're minusing, and you're getting blowfly that you can continue to...
Yeah. And
Nice.
then I poison balled and removed all their libraries from the game. And they were like... Because, of course, at that point, I had at least 30 mana. All of it black. I still couldn't play anything else that was in my hand.
Nice.
But it was good. It was
I
a
like
good
it.
game. It was fun. I beat Max Crandell. That's the moral of the story.
Yeah.
And I got to interact with some members of the nation, which is always fun. And I love doing it. So, good vibe.
I like it. Speaking of interacting with members of the Nation,
Okay.
we've got a couple new patrons to shout out.
Ooh.
And I want to take a minute. Good vibe of the week. Big thanks to all the patrons that help us bring the YouTube to people that are listening. Welcome to the new YouTube subs. That wasn't the interaction I was talking about, but I can still say thank you and welcome if you're a new sub. If you watch past the banter and don't just leave us a comment like, oh, you guys talk about nothing but fucking not magic for fucking whatever. If you got past all that and you want to be part of the nation, you can head on over to patreon.com/CCO Podcast.
You can. We're the best magic community you're going to find anywhere.
Oh, fuck. And we don't just say that. It's actually true.
Yeah. Other people say it, which
Yeah.
is cool. So that's how we know it's true.
And they're wrong.
No, they say it, we're the best.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought they were talking about themselves.
No, they're
but
right as hell.
Yes, they are right as hell because maybe they're part of the nation, for example, and they agree. They are part of the best nation. If they're part of the CCO nation, and part of being in the nation is your CCO nickname.
Oh, yeah, it's the best part. I don't know anybody wants these, but hey, man, they're popular, so we're doing them.
That's it. So we've got 2 today, the first of which is Tom Sir Grave. Sir Grave. That almost is like Sir Gwyn or Sir Conrad. It's like he's a Sir in Eldraine.
Ooh, what about Seagrave?
Seagrave.
He'd be a pirate.
He's a pirate Sir.
Yeah, nyar. I just watched The Terror with Kyla the other day. It's like a
Sounds terrible.
It's a documentary about these 2 boats that were trying to find some kind of passage from England, and they got caught in the ice, and everybody died. And
is it about the Northwest Passage?
Yes.
Going through fucking up by Baffin Bay and
Yeah,
shit? Yeah,
that's the exact thing. And the boats went missing in 1850 or whatever.
Oh, yeah,
and they just found them like 4 years ago.
Yeah, because the ice is melting.
And they were scheduled.
That's not something that we should be happy about.
And they were scheduled to dive to the boats to get all the stuff off of them this year, but the global bitch that's got us all in her cold embrace stopped the expedition. So
yeah, and you know what?
Topical.
With all of the I don't know, the pollution, greenhouse gases, maybe the Earth temperature will drop and then it'll freeze again, and then won't be able to access it until the next time. Like
that'd be super funny.
The Earth warms up again. Eh?
I would laugh at that. So Seagrave sunk the Terror.
Oh, I was gonna say Terror Sea Grave.
Oh, that's good too.
Pick your poison, pick your sea, terror, grave, sir, welcome, and of course,
F you.
Oh, F you the
Baby.
most. Second and final shout out. Colin Russell.
Oh, dude. Get this.
Whenever it's Colin, you know what it's turning into.
It's turning into colon. And it's going to be Colin Russell. That is the medical term for the sound your butthole makes when you fart. That's a real thing.
It's like the cold fall breeze blowing the leaves down by the riverbank.
Yeah, except it's coming out of your butthole. It's
almost poetic.
I don't know why people want
Colin Russell?
Colin Russell.
He kind of got 2 first names.
Yeah, but now he has a fucking good nickname.
He's got an ass name.
Yeah.
Ass Russell. I also like that. Oh, welcome to the nation, and of course,
F you.
Yeah, right in the ass, Russell. Which sounds like ass muscle, which is also good. Oh man, welcome. It's great to have you. Thank you for the support. You make it all possible.
You do.
Yeah, and we've got. The last thing before we get to the deck. Sorry, everybody on YouTube. Just kidding, S-my-D. We've got a Christmas special coming up in the next couple weeks.
Oh, going to be so good. There's a great story behind it, and it's a really cool deck.
Yeah, the annual Brando Christmas special. So that'll be extra, maybe extra giveaway. Maybe I've got an extra like Zendikar or Commander Precon Commander deck. Got an extra one. Maybe we can give away some extra stuff at Christmas. Again, courtesy of Fusion Games. We'll squeeze them a little bit for some stuff.
Hell yeah.
And we'll give it to the people in the nation. YouTube commenters or followers, retweeters and stuff on Twitter. You know, the typical social media stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll give it away. It's Christmas. And Christmas this year is kind of going to suck, so we got to make it as good as we can. That's another good vibe.
I dig it. We're gonna make it through together.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. Should we do a deck?
Let's
do a deck.
I know usually what we've done by now is we've read the Commander, talked about a bunch of other stuff. I feel Atraxa doesn't really need an introduction.
Did we read the Commander? What if somebody's listening to Commander Cookout that's never heard of Magic before?
Okay, well for that person,
we can be so naive to assume that Commander Cookout's going to be the first thing that they find, right?
It could happen.
I don't know.
It could happen.
Let's give it a read just for
that one person. Welcome. You're going to enjoy Magic. Rip to your wallet. Atraxa, Creator's Voice, is a 4/4 angel horror for green, white, blue, black with flying, vigilance, death touch, and lifelink. And at the beginning of your end step, proliferate.
So that would be for each kind of counter. For each counter, you can choose to put another counter on the thing that the counter is on.
Now, those are time counters. Those are helix counters.
Loyalty
poison
counters.
Any counter.
Yeah. Any counter. +1/+1s.
-1/-1s.
Yeah. So we can do countery stuff within our token Atraxa deck. This is Toka Atraxa. And we don't have custom categories, fucking Kurt, Mr. Anderson Smith. But thankfully, your boy came a little bit prepared. We do have 11 token cards. They are high impact, like I said, so we don't need 30 token cards, for example, right?
Yeah.
And that gives us room to fit in 10 instances of ramp, whether it be spells or rocks, or in this deck's case, enchantments. There are 10 of them that are separate from the token cards. They don't overlap in any way. And then we do have a bunch of card draw and a bunch of good Atraxa value.
And we're going to talk about them in turn as we go, starting with what? The artifact?
Sure, there's 6 of them. Let's just pound them.
We got Viridian Longbow.
Equipped creature has tap, deal 1 damage to target creature or player.
Turns Atraxa into a removal spell.
Yeah, because you got Death Touch.
Correct. Sol Ring.
Yeah.
Skull Clamp.
Yeah.
Cold Steelheart.
That's less good Arcane Signet, which we're also playing. It ETB's tapped and you choose a color, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Chromatic Lantern.
Makes all your lands into every land, right? Unplayable.
Unplayable trash is what that is.
Yeah.
And Arcane Signet.
Got there. Yeah. 2-drop Sol Ring, but better.
Wow, that was pretty good. Should we do the instance?
Sure.
Let's do some instants.
Insties.
We have Utter End.
That is a exile target non-land permanent for 4 mana. Good or completely fucking unplayable?
I like it.
I like it. It's fine.
Like it. Yeah, it could be Anguished Unmaking, but you know what? It's not, and that's fine.
Yeah.
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 How about Mythos of Nethroi?
Destroy target non-land permanent if you... I have no fucking idea what this card does.
The wording on this card is insane, but what it does is it's black 2, and it kills a creature. If you pay black, white, green, it destroys a non-land permanent.
Oh.
But if you want, you can target a non-land permanent with it anyway and not pay the 3 mana. It just doesn't do anything.
Oh.
So it's...
Not pay the 3 colored mana, you mean?
Correct. You can pay like black, and you can target a Sol Ring with it. It just won't do anything.
Oh.
Whereas if you pay Abzan and target a Sol Ring with it, it'll kill it.
Oh.
Very strange wording, really rad art. Cool card.
You like that art?
I do. I know it's Seb. Seb was built to do cave paintings.
Yes.
And pictures of the Abyss, because that damnation is cool, and I can't take that away from him.
Yes, I'm going to buy that damnation.
Yeah. I bought the playmat
his secret lair damnation we're talking about, right? I'm going to buy that exact damnation in foil, and that's going to be probably, at least thus far, the only secret lair card that I own.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so I'll put my stamp on that one being from Seb, and not because it's a Seb, but because I need a foil damnation. I don't actually own one, and it does remind me of the what's his name, Hieronymus Bosch. He's a Renaissance painter from Holland. I think he's Dutch. I think.
Sure.
It's great painting.
Excellent. Enlightened Tutor.
Tutski puts it to artifact or enchantment to the top of your library for just white instant.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Death Sprout.
I actually like this card. I think this card is a little bit underserved, and it's because it's 4 mana, of course. It's green, black, 1. Destroy target creature. Search your library for a basic, put it onto the battlefield tapped. Then shuffle. I actually play that in Gak Ball.
Of course you do.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'll kill my own thing, probably, and then get a land. And that makes Hermitrude better.
How about Court of Calling?
Court of Calling. This is a good one, too. Instant speed. All these are instants, Ryan. We're in the instant section.
Correct.
Yes, it's not the removal section. It's the instant section.
Yes.
Green, X, and Convoke. So you can tap creatures to help pay for X or green if you tap green creatures. And you can search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost X or less and put it right onto the B.
pretty good.
Oh, yeah, right onto your ass muscle.
It's a fine card.
It's a good-ass card.
7 out of 10.
What picture is that, too? Is that the double master one? Doubly Masty?
That is Dub Masty.
Nice.
Double Nasty,
I
Double
like that
Nasty.
one.
How about Beast Within?
Kills the thing, gives the thing's owner a 3/3 beast token. Important if we kill one of our tokens to upscale into a bigger token and then doubling season it.
Neat.
That's a good little trick in token decks.
Ass Trophy.
Ass Trophy. I like it. Ass Trophy is black, green, destroy target permanent, and then its opponent gets a basic land. It's kind of like Ass to Exile, except for black, green, and gets anything, right?
Yes. Yes.
Good
It has to be
card.
an opponent's thing. You can't target your own shit with it.
Oh.
That's a thing.
That's fine.
It's a solid card. Absent Charm.
You didn't give me nothing for Ass to Exile? You didn't give me nothing.
I liked it.
Okay.
I liked it on Facebook. I clicked the heart button.
Abzan Charm. This is green, black, white. I was going to say, what is that? Oh, yeah, it's Abzan. As per the charm's fucking name, Ryan. Choose one. Exile target creature with power 3 or greater. Good. That's good. Yeah. You draw a card and draw 2 cards and lose 2 life. Good for 3 mana. That's on rate, right?
Yep.
Yep. And distribute 2+1 counters among 1 and or 2 creatures.
Does all sorts of Atraxa stuff.
Yeah, those are good modes. I like
Kills
that
things, draws cards, puts counters on things for Atraxa to proliferate. Solid include in the deck. Hit some sorceries.
Sorceries. Let's crush them.
Classic Wrath of God.
Wrath of God.
Triumph of the Hordes.
Gives all your tokens +1 Trampsky and Infecty.
All your dudes.
Yes.
So Atraxa also.
Yeah, I suppose that's important, but we're going to attack with tokens.
Correct.
Yeah.
Toxic D.
Oh, to give him the old TD. And I'm not talking about a touchdown. You pay life, you give creatures -life, -life.
Phyrexian Rebirth.
Oh, good one. High impact token maker. This is destroy all creature, and then you get an XX horror with power and toughness equal to the number of creatures destroyed. And we've got foils of that horror now. I think I need one. I think I own one, actually.
I got a bunch if you need one.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll pick one up for me today.
Yeah. Green Sun Zenith.
GSZ is going to search your library for a green creature, put it onto the battlefield, then it shuffles itself back into your library, and it's green X.
Also fine.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Strictly medium. Farseek.
Search your library for plains, island, forest, not forest, swamp, mountain. Put it onto the battlefield.
That's exactly what the card says, oddly enough.
Yeah, that is like rampant growth, but you can't get a forest.
And Cultivate.
Search, one into hand, one onto the battlefield. Sure.
Should we do Creech, Enchantment, or Planeswalker next? These are the big ones. These are big Atraxa things.
These are big Traxa. The enchantments, just because there's not as many of them? There is lots of them, but let's do it anyways.
They're quick. Sylvan Library.
Draw 3, take 8 every turn.
Yes. There. Again, that's what the card says. That's what the words on the card actually say when you translate it from English to correct English.
That is a good-ass card. $65 that card still costs, hey?
Even with the incredibly easy-to-get reprint that they just had. I'm saying that with my facetious face on.
Oh. What was it reprinted in?
Commander Collection Green.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Spellbook Freyleys,
yeah.
if you will.
Yeah.
Thanks, Wizards. Smothering Ties.
Smothering Titty. Okay, we've got an enchantment. This is a good-ass card, right? Or is it bad? It's probably bad.
Yeah, I don't know who would have ever said it wasn't very good, but, you know.
It just takes a long time to pay you back.
I'm sure it does.
White, 3. Whenever somebody draws, they pay 2. If they don't, you get a treasure token. So that's one of our ramp cards. I included it in the ramp section, right?
Pretty good with doubling season also.
Oh, yeah.
Simic Ascendancy.
Good with doubling season as well.
Mm-hmm.
You can pay Simic and 1 to put a +1 counter on something, and whenever you put a +1 counter on something, it gets a Ascension counter, and then if you have 20 Ascension counters, you win the game?
That's right.
Fuck, did I get there?
Yeah.
Got there.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's the beginning of upkeep, of course. It's one of those.
Oh, yeah, you got to wait.
Whatever. It's fine. But Heuristic Study.
You draw a card to pay.
First big token maker.
Yeah, and this is a cool card.
It's big when paired with a card we're going to talk about in just a second. Presence of Gond.
Presence of Gond. I played this back in like Shadowmoor Standard to make copies of like Farhaven Elf or something. Anyways, this is green 2, enchantment aura, enchant creature. An enchanted creature has tap. Put a 1/1 green elf warrior creature token onto the battlefield. Oh, no, I didn't play this with Farhaven Elf. Yes, I did. I put it on Farhaven Elf after I got mana with Farhaven Elf. Yes, and I made other elves. So you make an elf with it.
Yes.
That's totally fine. I should put that in Gak Ball.
You should. You know what it works really good with? Parallel lives.
Ooh, doubles your tokes. That's half doubling season.
It doubles your creature tokens. We're also playing doubling season, doubles your counters, doubles your tokens.
Sure.
That card is insane.
Yeah.
Not in Commander Collection Green.
No. But was in Dub Nasty,
Yeah, that's true.
which was a fairly easy set to get and did affect prices greatly. Not so much on doubling season as others, but foil doubling seasons are like only a couple dollars more than regular doubling seasons now because Dub Nasty.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Collector boosters doing their thing. Mirari's Wake.
Good card.
Is Mirari's Wake better than, equal to, or about the same as a Caged Sun?
Costs less.
Cage
Makes it
Sun-
more playable in some people's eyes.
Caged Sun goes into more decks.
Yeah.
Right? So is it better? Is it worse? What, do you play both? If given the opportunity, you're only going to play one. Which one do you pick?
If I'm in the colors, I'm playing Mirari's Wake. Enchantments are a little bit harder to destroy than artifacts. It costs less. It buffs your guys. It doubles your mana. So it does all the same shit, but for less mana. And in a 2 or more color deck, it's gonna double like not just my planes like Cage Sun, right?
Yeah, good one.
If I'm playing mono black and it's a creature deck, right, I'm gonna play Cage Sun, right,
Obviously.
and be happy about it.
Yes.
Right.
You're going to be happy you have that. Mirari's Wake is an enchantment for 5. White and green is part of those 5. And creatures you control get +1/+1. If you tap a land for mana, you get an additional of that mana.
Yeah, that's cool.
CCO Special.
Oh yeah, and combo enabler with our boy Presence of Gond.
Intruder Alarm.
Oh, this is a good ass card. Remember whenever I drop an Intruder Alarm and I say, "No, I'm just playing it for control, so creatures don't untap."
That's a lie. That's always a lie. Nobody plays Intruder Alarm unless they're going to combo it. Nobody.
Well, maybe we could play it in Stacks Traxa for tap downs.
And combo downs.
Tap downs, and you just play your Presence of Gond to make a thing to untap your artifacts or whatever, so you can unorb yourself. But then you're like, oh wait a sec, I can just tap and make another one and untap again. So what it does, blue 2 creatures don't untap during normal untap steps.
Awesome.
Yeah. Whenever a creature ETBs, untap all creatures.
Ooh.
So when you Presence of Gone to make an elf, the creature that it's attached to will untap. And then you can tap it again, and it'll untap again. You can go infinite that way, just like 2-card combo. With any creature in the deck.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We talked about doubling season already. Cathar's Crusade.
Ooh, if we were doing our Presence of Gone Intruder Alarm combo with the Cathar's Crusade, whenever a creature enters the battlefield under our control, you put a +1 counter on each creature you control. That includes the one that just ETB'd.
Yeah, that's a good ass card.
Very hard to represent that scenario if I'm making like multiple creatures in succession per turn. This one has 1 counter. Then this one gets another counter, and the new one gets a counter. And then the first one has 3 counters, 2 counters, 1 counters. 4 counters, 3 counters, 2 counters, 1 counter, right?
I think that's one of those ones where you just demonstrate, like, yo, these guys are going to be so big that any one of them will kill you, and there's thousands of them. So you either wrath me or lose.
Yeah, you know what? I'm an advocate for like having 1 token with like 6 dice on it or whatever, right? Or 6 pips on your dice on it to represent 6 guys. But with Cathar's Crusade, it might be important to have like, you know, a token with individual dice to say how big they are, and then individual dice to say how many are at that size.
That bigliness.
Yeah, it's a hard card to represent. You got to kind of think about how to represent that, and that is important for any new players in the niche to be able to represent that.
It's a tricky one.
Yeah.
Awakening Zone.
Ooh, at the beginning of your upkeep, you get a 0/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn that you can sack for a mana. That's fine.
It's a good ass card. And Aura Shards.
Oh, whenever a creature ETBs, you destroy target artifact or enchantment. Good card.
You may. That's important.
I always do.
Of course you always do. Unless you're the one that has all the artifacts and enchantments because you've killed all your opponents. And now you don't have to.
Yeah, you would in this deck, right? Because you just Presence of Gone and just dust the whole board.
Exactly. Unlike the Harmonic Sliver that isn't a May. Ooh. So you have to make sure you're playing an indestructible artifact somewhere in your deck so that you can still go infinite and not kill all your shit.
Oh, I like that. You just keep targeting the indestructible thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
See, I got it figured out.
All right.
Let's do some Some P-dubs. Should we do the P-dubs?
Sure, let's P-dub it, and I'm going to paraphrase these dubs. I'm going to P these dubs.
Now, some of these are real good. Some of them are kind of stapley.
How about this? If they're token makers, we do them. If they're not token makers, we'll just read their fucking names. Does that work? Because these are hard to do and listen to on podcast form. Right? And lots of people are going to know what these do, right?
Sure. We'll start with Vraska Golgari Queen. That's the one that lets you sack a thing to draw a card and gain a life.
Yes.
Or destroy a thing. Or if you can get her to ult, you get an emblem with whenever a creature you control deals damage to a player, that player loses the game.
And the other Vraska that we're playing is Vraska the Unseen. Is that the one that makes the dudes that hit you and you lose?
That have player death touch?
Player death touch.
Yep.
Ultimate, you make 3 dudes with player death touch, and we would hope to maybe copy those, or Presence of Gone. No, that makes an elf. Yeah. We would hope to copy those with tokening
season
abilities,
or parallel
right?
lives. You get a bunch of them, and then you just sneak them in somewhere.
Yeah, okay.
I really like Vivian Monsters Advocate.
Yeah, flash for creatures, and you can look at the top card of your library? Or is it you look at the top card of your library, you can cast it if it's a creature?
You may look at the top card, cast it if it's a creature.
Yeah, and she's got a +1 is make a 3/3 green beast, and a -2, you look at the top cards of your library and you can get a creature?
No,
Fuck.
Let me hit you with the truth, Ryan. You get a 3/3 with either Reach, Trample, or Vig counter.
Oh, I was half right.
If you -2 her, when you cast your next creature, you can go through your library to find something that costs less and put it into play too.
Oh, yeah. Kind of like Creature Cascade.
Yes.
Creature-cade, if you will.
Except just you get a thing. There's no randomness to it. It's like I play a 5, I'm going to get a 4 or a whatever.
Oh, yeah.
She's good. I like her a lot.
She is good, and those comic book arts are sick, eh?
Oh, yeah, so
now
good.
They're cool.
She's a really slick foil also.
Oh, yeah.
We have Sorin, Lord of Innistrad.
He makes vampire tokens. That's the important part. And emblems to make your vampires bigger, right?
Yes.
Or creatures bigger.
Your creature's bigger.
Yeah.
So you can make your tokes a little bit bigger. Nisa, Voice of Zendi.
Makes 0/1 plants and puts +1 counters on each creature you control.
Ooh,
that's a good one in a token deck.
That's a good one in an Atraxa token deck.
Yeah.
Oh, Garruk, Primal Hunter.
This pluses to make a 3/3 green beast, minuses to draw cards equal to the bigliness of your biggest big.
Nice.
So Atraxa might be like, if Atraxa's on 4, Garruk's on 5, you -3 them if you just want to draw 4 cards for 5 mana. That's good.
That's not bad at
all.
But
if you want to plus them and make a beast, and then you got Atraxa and a beast to protect Garruk, and then next turn you can draw 4, also good.
Or you could go next turn and ultimate him and get a 6/6 worm for each land you control. That's also good.
Oh, yeah, because you can plus them to 4...
Plus them, proliferate them again with something else in the deck, which we'll get to later. Boom.
And then that's good.
Or just play him into a doubling season and just ult him right away.
Also good.
The last one is Elspeth, Sun's Champion.
Probably highest power planeswalker in the deck. This card is like screaming good.
Yeah.
This is a 4 loyalty Elspeth for white 4. You +1 to get 3 soldier tokes.
3.
Great in a token deck, should I add.
Yeah.
You can -3 here to destroy all creatures with power 4 or greater. Great in a token deck because all of our stuff is 3 or smaller. And you can -7 to you get an emblem, creatures you control get +2/+2, and fly.
That's how you get your player killing assassin tokens in there.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah. You play Vraska the Unseen into doubling season. You thing with the things, and then you give them the thing with the flying, and you still have your planeswalkers left, and you kill everybody.
Yeah.
Which at that point, it doesn't matter if you have planeswalkers left. But
but hey, you never know. Maybe somebody's got Tef's protection.
Yeah, somebody come back from the dead or something.
There should be a card that brings somebody back if you lose the game. When you lose the game, gain 5 life. Like that would be...
Well, there is stuff where it's like you don't lose the game for having...
But you have to lose. Like you're dead.
You have to fucking lose.
You've lost the game, and then you just come back to life with 5 life or something. You know, I think that would be neat. I think that would be
something weird like that. Yeah.
That'd be a cool... Or whenever another player wins the game, you come back into the game. That'd be neat.
Whenever somebody wins the game, you win the game instead. Take this, lab man. Well, I don't fucking lose. Well, yeah, try drawing a card next turn, ass face. Yeah, something like that. That's why we don't design cards on the show.
Oh, but we should.
We just want to dunk all over Tef's protection and lab man.
Yeah.
And call people ass face. I want Ass Face to be a card with partner, and I want to partner it with Cheaty Face. That's what I want.
Oh.
Partners with, I'm going to search my deck for Ass Face. You don't notice. Oh, man, that's a great-ass card.
We got 22 creatures, Ryan.
Oh, okay. Some of them are going to be easy, though, right? Like,
Oh, yeah. Some of these are just...
Like Wood Elf is our first one.
Yeah.
Search for a land when it ETBs.
Forest.
Yeah, sure.
Put it to play. Walkie Bee.
Walkie Bee. You X them for lots of mana, you remove counters, and you just ballista somebody to death.
Yeah, good with Atraxa because you just multiply the counter.
Oh, yeah, you put +1s on them, and you just get one for free every turn.
Yes.
Yeah, or more if you got, like, doubling seasons and shit.
Also, yes.
Yeah, it's fine.
Vizier of Remedies.
If a -1 would be put onto a creature you control, -1, -1/-1s are put on that creature instead. That's a weird card, hey? You're looking at that card, you never seen it, now you're like, fuck, I want to combo with this. It's probably in here to combo.
With what? We'll
something
find
that
out.
puts -1 counters on something, but it actually doesn't.
We'll find it.
Yeah.
We'll find it. Uro, Titan of Nature's... Have we ever played this on the show?
I don't know.
I don't think we've ever actually played Uro on the show before.
Yeah, give him a read.
Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath, is a 6/6 for blue, of course, green, of course, 1, because why not?
Yeah.
When it enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless it escaped. We'll get to escape in a second. Whenever Uro enters the battlefield or attacks, you gain 3 life, draw a card, then you can put a land from your hand into play, and it has escape for blue, blue, green, green, and exile 5 other cards from your graveyard. So if he's in your bin, you can exile 5 cards, play blue, blue, green, green, and then play him.
Well, that's fine.
And then draw a card, gain some life, and ramp.
All those things are good things that those colors seem to want to do with every single fucking legendary creature that they print.
Weird.
Yeah. You know, I really think that green needs some help in 2021.
Yeah, you know, I think that 2020 was really bad for green, and I think that we really do need to up its power level a little bit, especially in conjunction with blue. Simic just does not have enough stuff that they can do. It's hurting. Boros got a bunch of help this year.
Well, I was just going to say, I think they need to borrow some of Boros's stuff.
Well, yeah, definitely.
No.
Yeah, get it in there.
Yep.
How about Trigon Predator?
Triggy P. Just made it up. When he hits you, you destroy an artifact or enchantment.
Yeah. Triskelion.
Ooh, 6-drop, 1/1. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
ETBs with 3+1 counters on it.
Yep.
So it would ETB with 6 with a doubling season.
Correct.
Yeah. And you can remove a counter to deal 1 damage. This is a combo card. I'm sure we're going to find something. If nothing else, it's going to just give us a free ping every turn with Atraxa like Walking Ballista. Worst case scenario.
Worst case scenario. Rise the Redeemed.
Riss the Redeemed, I think, is how the kids are saying it these days.
Whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, there's an H and a... Yeah.
H and a Y. There's no vowel in that word.
So he is a Selesnya hybrid, just 1 mana. 1/1 elf warrior. Selesnyan 2. You create a 1/1 green elf warrior. Okay.
Sure.
Selesnya 4. Double your tokens.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, Rise is pretty good. Or Riss or whatever.
Yeah. You can turn 1 them, and then turn 2 you do some other thing. Who cares? Maybe play a Sylvan Library. Turn 3 you make a token. Or turn 4 you play Atraxa. Turn 5 you do like Garruk, make a beast.
Turn 5 you play Doubling Season, and then turn
6 you... Yeah, something like that. Yeah, there's a certain curve that this deck can make, and there's a lot of different ways that it can make that curve to be like what is like a high-functioning commander deck, I think. And Atraxa affords you that because as long as you can cast her for the 4 different colors, she's going to further your strategy, whether it be tokens, +1s, infect, gaining life, poison,
making people not
Planeswalkers.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's why she's so popular, right? Because she can do so many things, and that's why we do Project Atraxa, right?
Yeah. How about Rampaging Baloths?
Rampaging Baloth is a 6-drop, 6/6 trample landfall, get a 4/4 beast. That is a token maker.
Very good.
Yeah.
Now, Protean Hulk?
Yeah.
Protean Hulk. Why?
7-drop, 6/6. When it dies, you search for 6 power of dude, put it onto the battlefield. Can be any number of creatures.
6 converted mana cost of dude.
Oh, yes, my bad.
What do you get?
Walkie Bee, it immediately dies.
Like, I don't understand what that's there for. I feel like there was a combo in this deck that is now gone. I think that he's like a skeleton of something else, because I don't know what that's there for. Like there is not a Macias the Unhallowed if people are waiting for us to talk about him to work with Trike or Walking Ballista. It doesn't exist. So I'm curious what Hulk is here for.
Well, let's read on. Maybe it'll dawn on us.
How about Master Biomancer?
Each creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional number of +1s on them based on how many +1s are on Master Biomancer. Maybe you search for that with your Protean Hulk, and then you have your Walking Ballista enter the battlefield with counters on it for free. That could not be terrible.
Sure. What Kazandu Tusk Caller.
This is a level up card. It's a 1/1 for 2, but you can level it up for 2, right?
Yep.
So you essentially during sorcery times, you can pay green 1 and you put a level up counter on it. And remember, Atraxa can proliferate those. Also, when it's got 2 to 5 level up counters, you can tap it to make a 3/3 elephant, right? Yep. And when it's got 6+, you can tap it to make a 5/5?
You make 2 3/3 elephants.
2 3/3s. Okay, so you proliferate, dump some mana into it, doubling season it. You can start making like 4 3/3s per turn. That's 12 power per turn. That's a good ass. That's high impact.
That's not too bad.
12 power per turn for attacking. It's good.
It is good. Now here's a creature / enchantment. Spoiler alert. That I actually developed an appreciation for, of all places, when I was still on Arena playing Brawl.
Huh.
Yeah, I know. And it's Heliod the Sun-Crowned.
Yeah, indestructible. 5/5. He is a creature and he is an enchantment, so you can find him with Court of Calling or Enlightened Tutor or Protean Hulk.
Sure.
Right? But he's not a creature if your devotion to white is 5 or less.
Also right.
Which is fine. So he's a creature everywhere except for when he's on the battlefield, if you have not 5 devotion to white. What he does, you pay 2 mana and you get creatures you control gain lifelink until end of turn?
Just 1. White 1, another creature you control gets lifelink till end of turn. And then whenever you gain life, you can put a +1/+1 counter on target creature or enchantment.
Well, that combos with Walking Ballista, and that's what you find with your Protean Hulk. You find those 2 cards.
Oh, yeah, and then you
there it is.
Machine gun them out. There you go, with Triskelion and that. We did it!
There it is.
I guess you can't find Triskelion with Protean Hulk, but you can find Walkie B. No, Walkie B dies right away.
Maybe we got some Graveyard Getter backers.
Let's keep going. God Eternal Oketra.
Whenever you cast a creature spell, you get a 4/4 black zombie warrior creature token with Vidge. Oh, man, there's a high impact token maker. If it dies, you long-term death at 3 from the top, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Man, God Eternal Oketra is so good.
Yep.
I really like her. Fiend Artisan.
Gets +1/+1 for each creature in your graveyard. And you can go Golgari and X, sack another creature to find a creature that's smaller or bigger.
Converted mana cost X or less.
X or less, yeah. So you just pay X and you find something with X or less. That's fine.
Yeah,
that's a good card.
I don't think I've ever actually seen one of those in real life.
I have a foil one.
Huh.
Yeah. It's kind of like Tarmogoyf in that it's like gets big for things in your graveyard at 2 mana. And you can also use it sort of like a, birthing pod? Sort of.
Yeah, I kind of want one. Just trade it to me.
I don't know.
You give me like $75 in trade.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So maybe Fiend Artisan could take some of that off.
Why do I owe you $75?
I gave you a foil Rodan.
Never heard of it.
And a bunch of red elemental blasts from the Chandra spellbook.
Totally didn't.
And a foil Past in Flames.
Nope. Not ringing any bells.
Next up, we have Erebos, God of the Dead.
Let's pay some life, draw some cards, devotion. Your opponents can't gain life?
Yeah.
Got it.
Got there. Now, Duskwatch Recruiter?
You give him a read. You like this card.
It's a human warrior fucking werewolf. There's a werewolf. I think this is just to troll me. It's a 2/2 for green 1, and it has green 2. Look at the top 3 C's of your L. You may reveal a creature from them and put that shit into your hand. The rest go on the bottom.
What does it flip to?
And it flips over into a Kralin Horde Howler, which is a 3/3 creature spells you cast cost 1 less. And of course, both sides have werewolf, so if you want to turn it into the creature make cheaper thingy, you have to hope somebody time walks themselves, or you yourself have to time walk yourself, and once it is the thing that you want, it flips back into the shitty human thing, if somebody plays two things in the same turn.
Yeah, if you want to flip it to make like your Walking Ballista cost less or whatever, that's a weird one.
That's a screw bag thing, man. I don't like it.
That's a screw bag thing. Well, look at the next card, another combo piece.
Devoted Druid.
Devoted D. You put a -1 counter on it as part of the cost to untap it after you tap it for a green. But if you were to put a -1 counter on it, you can't, and you just untap it.
Oh, yeah, with that one enchantment or whatever,
replacement effect from Vizier of Remedies is going to not allow you to put a -1 on it, so you can just tap and untap it infinitely. You don't need a Quill Spike. And Vizier of Remedies is good to stop your opponents from like Black Sun Zenithing you and stuff, right?
Oh, Infinity Green.
Infinity Green. There's your Walkie B. You search for that with your fucking Protean Hulk. Vizier of Remedies, Devoted Druid, Heliod, and then you find Walkie B with literally anything else. And you can find it with Enlightened Tutor. Yeah, it's starting to get good. Crater Hoof B. Of course, he is going to be in a token deck. He's going to give everything +1 and you just crash in.
B of P.
Birds of Paradise. It's a mana dork.
Avengi of Z.
Avengi Z. He's going to make tokens equal to your landfall. All your lands get +1/+1.
And last one is Avacyn, Angel of Hope.
Avi C.
Avi C.
Yeah. All your shit gets indestructible, and she herself is flying and vigilant.
And just an 8/8 for 8.
Also fine.
It's a medium card.
Yeah.
Strictly medium.
8/8s are totally okay in my book.
That's the deck.
That is it. So we found some combos right at the very end, which is important because we need ways to close the game if we are kind of spreading ourselves across multiple different kind of avenues, right? We've got 7 or 8 cards, 9 cards that are there just for removal, right? We've got 7 Planeswalkers that are just like there for tokens and value. Nothing in those packages is really the oomph that ends the game, right? So we need Crater Hoofs and we need some ways to close the game. Walking Ballista, combos, infinite mana, that kind of stuff.
Yes.
I think that's fine.
It's important to build into decks like these because they can be very dirtily.
This deck, it would be a fucking slog to play against. Ticking up Planeswalkers and proliferating at the end of turn. This deck is the long game deck, right?
It dirtles, it turtles, it does all that stuff, and it just behooves you, for the sake of the friendship that you share with your friends, to have ways to just win games.
Yeah, and you exercise that with some discretion. You don't need, 18 tutors in the deck to make your combo happen on turn 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You play Magic still with your Planeswalkers and your Doubling Seasons and your Cathar's Crusades because those are fun cards.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
I'm into it too.
Strengths and weaknesses?
Strengths and weaknesses.
We already kind of covered the strengths, right? It's going to close out. It's got well-rounded deck-building principles being used.
This is one of those decks that will take a doorknob, put it into a sock, swing it around, kick in the front door, and just go to town on people.
Mostly Max Crandell.
Yes, definitely Max Crandell. This deck would probably beat Max Crandell.
Oh, probably.
By itself. Just sitting. It could be sitting on a chair playing another deck, and this deck would still beat Max Crandell.
You're right.
You can fight me, Max Crandell.
That is so golden good. I think we can say the average quality of card in this deck is high.
Yes.
Most of the cards in this deck are good. I don't think we said at any one point in this deck, oh, this is a bad card, right?
None of the cards here on their own are no good. Like, if you top deck virtually anything, you've top decked something that's going to progress your game plan in a forward direction without the need for you having something else, with the possible exception maybe if you just got Wrath and you draw Presence of Gond. That's the one situation that would be a thing. But
yeah,
let's not dwell on that.
Yeah, it's fine. Because of combos, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so high card quality, value for days. We've covered that. Lots of Planeswalkers, lots of proliferation. That's great. Combo lines to finish, covered that. Backup win cons. If we don't combo this way, we can use like Simic Ascendancy, or we can do Triumph of the Hordes if we've got a bunch of like 3/3 beasts or whatever, right? Yeah. And then of course Crater Hoof Behemoth late game. If you've even got 3 or 4 things, you drop a Crater Hoof, you give them all +5/+5 because Crater Hoof's the 5th thing, and then you just hit somebody for fucking 50. 80, whatever the number is, right?
Yeah, pick your number that's big enough to make them die.
Yeah. So that's great. Moving over to weaknesses, doesn't token as hard as you would think from a deck called Atraxa. It's not making a million 1/1 Saproling tokens. You know what I mean?
In some cases, you actually have to work pretty hard to do token stuff. We don't have a lot of multiple land drops to abuse the Rampaging Baloth. We don't have we do have ways to untap Rise Riss, whatever the hell his name is.
Oh yeah, he goes infinite if you've got a couple mana dorks, and right, you tap for 3, tap Riss to make a 1/1, and then you untap all your mana dorks with Intruder Alarm. That's another one.
Yeah, so there's ways of doing that, but unless you have those lines, you're not really like Kazandu Tuskcaller is awesome, makes elephants. Elephants are cool.
There's another one that goes infinite with.
But you're working pretty hard.
Yeah.
To do that,
because all the level up counters you need, right?
Yeah.
Mind you, if you can make infinite mana with your you're there, right? But then you have infinite mana.
Yeah, then you're just doing infinite. Once you can make infinite mana and just immediately win the game, the fact that you're doing it with tokens doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
Right? But other than that, you're making 1, maybe 2 dudes, 3 in Elspeth's case with a Planeswalker, which is not tokening as hard as you telling your friends this is a token Atraxa deck. It doesn't token, I think, as hard as they're going to want it to for them to not smack you around for playing just an Atraxa deck.
Yeah, and you know what? That leads perfectly into the next couple weaknesses. Is there is, as far as Atraxa decks are concerned, it might be a little light on the Planeswalkers to add value, because you are going to suffer from the Atraxa problem, which is people are going to assume that you are doing Atraxa Super Friends or you are doing Atraxa Infect, like the Zur problem, right?
Right.
You have to demonstrate that, no, this is like a token combo deck, as opposed to the value long game, dink you with my fucking loyalty ability till I can ultimate like 58 Planeswalkers on one turn.
You wreck you with a Dovinbon ultimate.
Yeah,
that's another Max Crandell story. Just saying.
So, yeah, the Atraxa problem, the crazy combo lines, while they are a positive, they could also be a negative, because once you demonstrate that it's not the typical Atraxa deck that is just the EDHRec.com average list, you are playing a combo list that has multiple 2-card combos in it.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of balance how Atraxa E you want to be, how combo E you want to be, and how much kind of fun you want to bring to the table if your playgroup doesn't find those things fun.
This is a cool deck all around, I think, but like Ryan just said, if you're gonna suffer from the Atraxa problem right out the gate, and then when people find out that you're playing multiple 2-card combos in the deck, it's just gonna make it worse for you. So it
you
might
know what
be...
though? You do have an Atraxa deck that does have some combo finishers to win the game, because you need them. And you know me, I am a sucker for combo decks, and this deck does play a lot of cards that I really do like.
Oh hell yeah! This is a great deck. It's a great deck. It's just one of those ones where if you're going to take it out to the wild and say this is a token deck, I think that people are going to get.
You've got some asterisks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's a token deck, but. Surprise!
It's actually Atraxa, and I need to do Atraxa things to make it work, so you don't just fucking kill me.
Doesn't make it bad at all. It just makes it. This is an Atraxa deck. It's not a token deck with Atraxa at the front. It's an Atraxa deck.
I like that. Yeah. I like that. I like that. If I was playing a token deck, I would think like the Nomadic Grove Guardians, Vertaloth the Ancients, all of the things that say like for each token you have, make another token, like Saproling Symbiosis and the Clone Army and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I like those in my token decks. All of those could be in this deck, but like you say, it is an Atraxa deck, which is good. That's why it's part of Project Atraxa.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Now, $1,014. I think some of that is because our man, Kurt Mr. Anderson Smith, has some foils listed in his Archidect list, like the Doubling Season and the Intruder Alarm and the Wrath of God, the Atraxa. Like, there's lots of money tied up in what probably is the real cards being foiled.
Yeah, some of the foils are expensive. Sylvan Library is big money. Atraxa herself is quite a bit. Smothering Tithe is on the climb. There's lots of cards that are just staples, and they're expensive because they're staples.
Peep this. Fetch lands. 4-color deck, we might need them depending on how many dual-colored lands we have, but $66 on fetch lands in this deck. Urborg Tomb to Yawgmoth, almost $30. Mana Confluence, $20. Crater Hoof, $50. And maybe Decimator of Provinces, maybe Pathbreaker Ibex, maybe even something like Overrun or Overwhelming Stampede.
Nuke 'em all.
Nuke 'em all.
Play the Nuke 'em all.
Yeah, there you go.
Nuke them all.
Nuke them all.
There it is.
There it is, yeah.
Nuke them all with Nuke them all. Oh, that's good.
Get this. Uro. And probably just because he has an Uro, right? But Uro, $50.
It's banned. It's not banned in the formats that are
Right?
expensive.
That is the kind of card where we can say, well, you could maybe put another Mana Dork because the Mana Dork is good with Intruder Alarm. Maybe make the deck run a little bit smoother, right? Avacyn, $32. Sylvan Library, and I know that you're going to hate to hear this, but could be a Harmonize if you're just looking to draw cards. And that's a $65 card. You're giving me the look, but it's $65. And if you don't have one, you're not going to go out and spend $65.
You wanted to replace a $65 card draw engine. You could replace it with literally any card in Magic. You picked.
You know what?
You picked Harmonize.
It's the general example that everybody knows. What about Shamanic Revelation? That's draw a card for each creature you control.
Yeah, or Momentous Fall, or
Shamanic Revelation, because we're playing tokens. We might have 6 or 8 tokens. Draw 6 or 8 cards.
Slate of Ancestry. Do it a bunch of times.
Draw a card for each creature you control.
Yeah,
that's a good one. You got to discard your hand though, right?
Yeah, whatever.
Who cares?
Play it all.
Fuck it. I hate my hand anyways.
Exactly. Your hand probably sucks compared to the 13 cards you're going to draw instead.
Yes, 13 cards better than whatever 7 I have.
Exactly.
Most likely, right?
You could. What's the thing? It's black, and you just draw an extra card on your turn for a life. Phyrexian Arena.
Phyrexian Arena, yeah.
There you go.
$20, but not 65.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like 20, not 65. So, anyways, you make all those cuts. The deck is about $650.
Still lots.
Which is like still what a 4-color Atraxa deck is probably going to run you if you want to play things like Doubling Season. And we just found out that the deck calculation is counting Ristic Study at $109, which isn't 100% true.
Yeah, that can't be real.
Take $100 off the price of the deck.
So
$550. Yeah, and you know what, honestly, if you're playing a bunch of like foil basics and exotic orchards and stuff, like your deck is going to be $200 or $300, $400, $500 without even you blinking an eye, just because that's what Magic cards cost. You know what I mean?
So when it's one of the unfortunate parts of the game.
We say it's a $500 deck, and while that sounds like a lot, not very many people are just going to say, hey, CCO, I like that Atraxa deck. Let's click the link, then click buy, and then click confirm. Like, nobody's going to do that and spend $500 or $1,000 on a deck. They're going to go like, oh yeah, Aura Shards, I have that. Cathar's Crusade, I have that. Intruder Alarm, I have that. Oh, I'm missing like 5 or 6 cards from this deck. You go out and you spend like $40. That's how decks get built normally.
Yeah.
I think that's fine.
I agree.
Spice Calculator.
Here
we go. Time of the list. Time of the show notes. 4,673 Atraxa lists.
Oh my God.
On EDH.
That puts her right above Thrasios and Timna at almost 1,500 lists, and way ahead of Rayhan, Last of the Abzan, and Ishai Ojitai Dragon Speaker at just about 350 lists.
Whoa.
So if you're talking Witch-maw, you're talking Atraxa.
Yeah, that is it, right? And she, of course, is top 3 of all time on EDH.
Correct.
Right? Okay, so average CMC, 3.44. That's kind of where we live in the nation.
That's where we like to be.
Yep. Tutors. This is going to hurt the Spice Calculator. There are 4 tutors in this deck.
And they're all good ones.
Yeah, it's fine. We don't want to cut any of them, right?
Do we count Fiend Artisan?
Oh, we didn't even talk. Oh, does that count?
Let's not count it.
Fuck them.
Let's not count it. Technically, there's 5, but we're gonna give them one.
Everybody gets one, right? Yeah. Okay, uniqueness rating. This is cards different than the front page for Atraxa on EDH. Cards that are not there that are in our deck.
Okay.
35 cards. And we're purposely not seeing the Anguished Unmakings for our Utter Ends. We're purposely not seeing Path to Exile. We see Death Sprout, for example, right?
Sure.
So I appreciate that. Playing not regular stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, 35. You punch it all in. Remember, the 4 tutors, 30.3 Spice. Kind of typical of Project Atraxa because, after all, we're not playing a token deck like we weren't playing a stacks deck, like we weren't playing a fog deck. We are playing that strategy within an Atraxa deck.
Yeah.
Right? So while we do like to showcase the unique ways to build Atraxa, we still are playing a lot of Atraxa cards to make the decks actually work.
Because there's a certain point where if you're going to play something like Atraxa, you're going to run into the Zur problem.
Mm-hmm.
So you might as well just do some Atraxa stuff. Yeah, she's a badass by herself, but there comes a certain point where you're playing Atraxa. Use fucking Atraxa.
Yeah, and you know what? There are 36, 37 lands in a commander deck. Our uniqueness rating is 35. That is, half of the non-land cards are doing something that is unique to this strategy, which is...
That's cool.
Lots of cards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so 30, it's great. Mr. Anderson Smith, thank you for the deck list. Card of the week?
You mean card of the week?
Yes, that's what I mean. And we do have to go back to CCO Staple, CCO Classic. I think we've probably featured this as card of the week in the past.
I don't think we have.
No?
Usually well, here's the thing. Usually we try and pick a card of the week that is something that's like fringe or like something you can throw a buck at and pick it up and have it in your collection. But now we've kind of shied away from Intruder Alarm because they were expensive.
Oh, is that the card?
For a while. Intruder Alarm is the card. But we picked Intruder Alarm because now is the time to pick these up. They were reprinted in foil and mystery boosters.
Foil only mystery booster.
And it's brought the price down where if you were thinking about just upping your combo game by getting an Intruder Alarm for your collection or one of your decks, maybe one or two, you can check out FusionGamingOnline.com. Use special promo code CCOFusion5 to pick up Intruder Alarms because the price has come down.
Yeah.
Pick them up now.
The foils on Fusion are only $1 more than the non-foils from Stronghold. Now, if you want to ball out of control, and I know you do, Intruder Alarm Foil 8th edition, it's the only, like, air quotes, real foil before they turned into taco shells, $57.
No,
the price dropped on that about $3.
I don't want to say that's the one that I play in my Sliver Queen deck, but it is.
But I'm not going to tell you otherwise.
Exactly.
Well, go to FusionGamingOnline.com. Use CCO Fusion 5 promo code. You get 5% off your order. Could be on Intruder Alarms, could be on Brash Taunters, could be on anything you want. And that lets Fusion know that their relationship with CCO is a good one.
And it is, because we're awesome, and so are you.
Very much so. It's good to be part of the nation right now. Give us a final thought of the day, maybe a good vibe, maybe an Atraxa vibe.
Final thought of the day, this is another great Atraxa list in the Project Atraxa series that we have been doing over the last few years. I think a worthy include, a worthy addition, and a super cool deck that you could bust out and play with your homies, and everybody would have a really good time. And I think that it would be one of those games where even if you finished it with one of your 2-card combos, they're off the wall enough for an Atraxa deck that people are going to look at it and say, damn, that was pretty sweet. Just like Max Crandell did when I poison balled him yesterday. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm just going to keep dunking on him because it's fun. So the deck is good. FusionGamingOnline.com. They are our official sponsors. They are also good. And everybody else that's been listening to the show, you are my favorite thing each and every day. You keep us going. You've kept us going through these difficult times, and we're happy to be here for you. Hopefully to bring some of the good vibes into your ear holes and your eye holes and any other hole through which you intake the show.
Any hole.
Remember to check out CommanderCookout.com for all the information and all the news on what we're up to. We're going to have some new stuff posted there in the near future, possibly in the new year, possibly before. Who can say? But it's worth keeping an eye out for it. And we are going to be back with you next week for another very exciting episode of Commander Cookout Podcast. Hit our